Hey there, welcome back to Ageless Mind and Body, where we talk all things health, strength, and confidence, especially for folks who know that getting older doesn't mean slowing down. Today's video might surprise you. A few months ago, a 70-year-old patient came into my office and said something that really stuck with me. He said, "Doc, I've been doing things the same way for 50 years, but lately something just feels off." Now, he wasn't sick, no new meds. Blood work looked fine, but something in his body had changed, and he couldn't quite explain it. Turns out the issue wasn't what he was doing. It was how he was doing it. We're talking about masturbation. And no, this isn't about shame or judgment. In fact, this is about understanding your body better, especially as you age. I'm Dr. John Miller, board certified in sexual health and gynecology, and I've spent over 20 years helping men over 60 feel strong, connected, and confident without pills pressure or second guessing. In this video, I'm breaking down 7 common masturbation mistakes older men make, often without even realizing it. These habits can silently affect your heart, your prostate, your energy levels, even your ability to feel pleasure. If you've been noticing changes and wondering if it's just part of getting older, you need to hear this, because the truth is, it's not always age, it might be the approach. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into what's really going on and, more importantly, how to fix it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're into honest, no BS health advice made just for you. Let's get into it. Mistake 1. Using porn as the primary stimulus. Let's talk about one of the most common habits I see in older men when it comes to self-pleasure. And honestly, it's something most guys never even question, using porn as the go-to source of stimulation. Now, I'm not here to shame anyone. Let's be real, porn is everywhere. It's accessible, it's fast, and for many men, it's been a part of their routine for decades. But here's the thing, especially after 60, your body and brain start to respond very differently to the way you stimulate yourself. When you're younger, your dopamine system, that's the part of the brain responsible for pleasure, motivation, and reward, is firing on all cylinders. But as you age, that system becomes a little less flexible, a little less responsive. And when you flood it day after day with high-intensity, fast-cut, hyper-stimulating adult content, your brain starts to adapt. But not in a good way. See, your brain gets overwhelmed. It says, "Whoa, this is too much." So instead of staying sensitive and responsive, it starts to numb itself. That means the very thing that once excited you no longer gives you that same spark. You may find that real intimacy doesn't feel the same anymore. You might notice that your body doesn't respond as quickly or at all. You may even start to feel emotionally disconnected from your partner, from yourself, from the experience of pleasure altogether. What's wild is that most men just assume this is part of aging. They think, well, I'm in my 60s now. Maybe I'm just not supposed to feel as much. But that's not the full story. It's not your age that's the problem. It's overstimulation. When your brain is used to that kind of supercharged content, it becomes desensitized to everything else. So when you're with a partner, or even just alone trying to enjoy the moment, it feels flat, uninspired, like something's missing. And that's frustrating, because deep down, you know you still want to feel connected and alive in your body, but your brain's pleasure system isn't giving you the feedback it used to. The good news: this can be reset. It's absolutely possible to retrain your brain to respond to more natural, real grounded sources of pleasure. It takes time, patience, and a bit of curiosity, but I've seen it work time and time again. So if you've been relying on porn as your main source of stimulation and you've noticed a drop in sensitivity or connection, don't ignore it. You're not broken, and you're definitely not too old. Your brain's just been on overdrive, and now it's asking for a break. It's time to reconnect with your body in a new way, one that's rooted in presence, not performance. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Mistake 2. Masturbating on the toilet. All right, let's get into mistake number 2, and this one might catch you off guard, because on the surface, it seems totally harmless. I'm talking about masturbating while sitting on the toilet. Yep, I know it sounds convenient, right? The bathroom is private, the door locks, no one's going to barge in. For a lot of men, especially as they get older, the bathroom becomes the one space where they feel safe enough to relax and take care of themselves. But here's the thing, most guys don't realize that hunched over seated position you're in while sitting on the toilet is actually working against your body in some serious ways. Let me explain. When you're sitting like that, back curled, knees up, core compressed, you're putting direct pressure on your pelvic region. That means less blood flow, more tension, and a whole lot of stress on your prostate. And over time, that adds up. I've had countless men come in and tell me about issues like aching around the groin, that annoying dribble after they pee, or the feeling like they're not fully emptying their bladder. They're thinking maybe it's just age, maybe it's their diet, or even a medication side effect. But often when we dig a little deeper, it turns out they've been masturbating in that tight, compressed toilet position for years and never connected the dots. What's happening here is all about circulation and nerve health. As we age, our bodies naturally become more sensitive to poor posture and restricted blood flow. The pelvic floor, that group of muscles that supports your bladder, prostate, and sexual organs, becomes more fragile. When you're hunched on the toilet, you're not just putting pressure on your prostate. You're actually making it harder for those delicate nerves to function properly. It's like putting a kink in a garden hose. Things can't flow the way they should. And I get it, changing a long-standing habit can feel awkward at first. But here's the good news. The fix is simple. You don't have to give up the privacy or the comfort. You just need to switch up your position. Try standing. Or recline in a way that allows your lower body to breathe a little. Give your pelvis space. Let your circulation do its thing, because trust me, your body will thank you, your prostate. It's begging you to stop squishing it. So if this one hits close to home, you're not alone, and you're definitely not doomed. Just becoming aware of this one little habit can make a big difference in how you feel, how you recover, and how your body responds over time. It's all about giving yourself permission to change something small so you can protect something important. Mistake 3. Rushing the experience. Let's talk about something a lot of guys don't even realize they're doing, rushing through the experience. Mistake number 3 is all about speed, and I don't mean the good kind. I mean treating self-pleasure like a chore, something to just get done and over with, like checking off a box on your to-do list. And look, I get it. Life gets busy. Maybe you're trying to sneak in a quick moment of relief between responsibilities, or just going through the motions out of habit. But the truth is, this rushed mechanical approach can quietly drain more from you than you realize. When you treat masturbation like a task, something to finish quickly, you put your body into a state of tension instead of relaxation. Your nervous system gets fired up, but not in the good way. Your heart rate spikes, your blood vessels tighten, and your body doesn't get the full release of those feel-good hormones like oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. Sure, you might climax, but instead of feeling satisfied and grounded, you're left feeling kind of empty, maybe even more tired than before. And over time, this pattern teaches your body to associate pleasure with stress, with pressure, with urgency. You may also start to notice that it's harder to stay aroused, harder to feel connected to the moment, whether you're alone or with a partner. It's like your body starts to forget how to truly feel because it's been trained to just hurry up and finish. That emotional disconnect builds quietly over time, and before you know it, something that used to bring joy starts to feel hollow or even like a burden. And again, many men assume this is just aging. But often it's not about your age at all. It's the habit of rushing. The solution? Slow down. Really just slow everything down. Take a breath. Allow yourself to be present in your body, not just trying to reach the end. There's no race here, no stopwatch ticking. Give yourself permission to feel every sensation. Notice what actually feels good instead of chasing the fastest route to climax. Let touch be more than just functional. Let it be meaningful. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about giving your body the space to enjoy, to respond to release in a deeper, more nourishing way. You'd be surprised how different things feel when you bring even a little bit of intention and patience to the moment. Not only does your body respond better, but your mind does too. You feel more balanced, more connected, and more at peace. And the best part, it's not some big dramatic change. It's just a shift in how you treat yourself. So if you've been rushing, take this as your invitation to slow it down. You deserve more than just getting it done. You deserve to feel fully, completely, and without pressure. Mistake 4. Ignoring the pelvic floor. All right, let's get into mistake number 4. And honestly, this one doesn't get talked about enough. We're talking about the pelvic floor. Now, if you're thinking, wait, isn't that just something women deal with? I get it. A lot of guys haven't even heard of the pelvic floor, let alone thought about how it affects their bodies. But here's the truth. The pelvic floor is a major player in your health, especially when it comes to sexual function and bladder control. And when you ignore it over time, things start to slip, literally and figuratively. Think of the pelvic floor like a hidden foundation that supports everything in your lower body, your bladder, your prostate, your sexual organs. It's a group of muscles sitting right at the base of your pelvis, and just like any other muscle, if you don't use it, it starts to weaken. And when that happens, you might start to notice some really frustrating changes. Maybe you're leaking a little after you pee. Maybe erections aren't as strong or reliable as they used to be. Or maybe the sensation during climax feels duller than you remember. That's not just age, it's your body signaling that this core group of muscles isn't getting the support it needs. I've worked with plenty of guys who are doing all the right things. They eat clean, they exercise regularly, they stay active, but they're still struggling in the bedroom or in the bathroom. And it turns out the missing piece is that no one ever told them how important it is to actually engage the pelvic floor. The good news, it's not complicated. In fact, once you know what to do, it becomes second nature. A great way to activate these muscles is by doing something called a Kegel, even though you don't have to call it that if it sounds weird. Basically, it's the same muscle action you'd use if you were trying to stop the flow of urine midstream. That gentle squeeze, not a full body clench, just a subtle tightening, helps build awareness and strength in those deep muscles. And no, you don't need a fancy gym routine to make it work. You can do it while brushing your teeth, standing in line, or sitting in your car. Just a few intentional squeezes each day can start to reconnect your brain and body. Over time, that connection leads to stronger erections, better control, and a noticeable improvement in sensation. Plus, you start to feel more in tune with your lower body, like you've taken back control of something you didn't even realize you were losing. So if this is new to you, don't worry. You're not behind. You're just becoming more aware, and that's powerful. The pelvic floor might be hidden, but its impact is huge. And the more attention and care you give it, the more your body will respond in ways that feel really, really good. Mistake 5. Too frequent or too rare masturbation. Let's talk about mistake number 5. And this one's a little tricky because it's all about frequency, how often you're actually masturbating. Now, this topic tends to make a lot of guys overthink or second-guess themselves. Some worry they're doing it too often, while others wonder if they've gone too long without. And honestly, it's no wonder there's so much confusion. No one really teaches us what's normal after 60, and the internet throws out all kinds of conflicting advice. But here's the truth I've seen time and again in real-life practice. Both extremes, too much and too little, can quietly throw your body off balance. If you're someone who masturbates very frequently, maybe out of habit, boredom, or even stress relief, your body can start to feel the effects. It's not always obvious at first, but over time, you might feel more drained, both physically and emotionally. Your energy dips, your recovery time after climax gets longer, and your prostate can become irritated or inflamed from the constant stimulation. It stops feeling like something you enjoy and starts feeling more like a routine that your body's just going through. Your sensitivity may drop, your interest in intimacy with a partner can fade, and it becomes harder to truly connect with pleasure. On the flip side, if you've gone a long time without any sexual activity, maybe because of medication, health issues, guilt, or just assuming you're too old for that, now your body can suffer in a different way. When sexual stimulation disappears from your life completely, your circulation to the genital area slows down. Nerve endings get less stimulation, and that can eventually lead to atrophy. The tissues weaken, erections become more difficult to achieve or maintain, and the spark of desire just kind of fades. It's like a muscle that hasn't been used. It gets rusty tight and forgets how to work. The sweet spot for most men over 60 usually lands somewhere around once or twice a week. Not because that number is magical, but because it's enough to keep your body's sexual system active and healthy without pushing it into exhaustion. And what really matters more than the number is the how. Are you doing it with intention? Are you listening to your body, taking your time, and letting the experience actually feel good? Or are you just squeezing it in like an old habit with no real connection? Masturbation, when done mindfully, helps maintain circulation, supports prostate health, keeps your nervous system engaged, and reminds your brain that pleasure is still a part of your life. And it should be. It's not about chasing a goal or sticking to a strict schedule. It's about tuning in. Every body is different, so start paying attention to yours. Find the rhythm that feels natural, sustainable, and energizing, not draining. Whether you need to slow down or reintroduce it gently, your body will thank you for finding that balance. Mistake 6. Using too much pressure. Let's get into mistake number 6, and this one's a biggie, especially because most guys don't even realize they're doing it. We're talking about using too much pressure. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That's just how I've always done it, or it's the only way I can really feel anything these days. And trust me, I hear that all the time. As sensation naturally decreases with age, it's completely normal to want to recreate that same feeling by gripping a little tighter or moving with more force. But here's the thing. What feels like a solution in the short term can actually create bigger problems down the line. When you apply too much pressure during masturbation, whether it's a tight grip, fast strokes, or using surfaces that are firm or rough, you're putting a lot of stress on the very tissue and nerves that are responsible for giving you pleasure. Over time, that constant friction and force can cause real physical damage. I'm talking about micro tears, scarring under the skin, loss of elasticity, and in some cases, even curvature of the penis that wasn't there before. And here's the part that really matters. Once those changes set in, it becomes harder and harder to feel as much, and your body starts needing more pressure just to get the same response. It's a frustrating cycle. I've had guys tell me, "Doc, it just doesn't feel the same anymore," or "I need more stimulation than ever," and it still barely works. They think maybe they're broken or it's just part of aging, but in many cases, it's simply the result of years of being too rough with their own body. The nerves become less responsive, the skin becomes less sensitive, and instead of building connection, the experience turns into a struggle. And honestly, that's the opposite of what this time in your life should be about. So, what's the fix? It's simple. Be gentle. That's it. Treat your body like something you care about, because you should. You don't need to squeeze harder or go faster to feel something. In fact, slowing down and using a lighter touch often brings out more sensation, not less. Focus on pleasure instead of intensity. Explore different kinds of touch, softer, slower, maybe even with some lube if you're not using it already. It's not about performance, it's about presence. Your body might need something different now, but that doesn't mean it's giving up on you. It just means it's asking for a little more care and attention. And the beautiful part is, when you shift from force to feeling, when you stop trying to chase sensation and instead let it come to you, your whole experience can change, not just physically, but emotionally too. So, if you've been gripping too hard or pushing too much, take this as your sign to soften your approach. You deserve pleasure that lasts not just in the moment, but for years to come. Mistake 7. Masturbating without emotion or intention. Let's talk about mistake number 7, and honestly, this one's probably the most important of them all. It's not about technique or position or how often you do it, it's about how you feel when you do. See, a lot of men reach a point where masturbation becomes just another habit. It's routine, automatic, done without much thought or emotion. And over time, that disconnected mechanical approach starts to dull not just the physical experience, but the emotional one too. It becomes something you do to pass time or to escape boredom or stress, but it doesn't actually mean anything anymore. It doesn't feel fulfilling. It just feels flat. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting pleasure. There's nothing wrong with self-pleasure at all. In fact, it can be incredibly healthy and grounding, but when it's stripped of emotion, intention, or connection, it can actually leave you feeling more empty than satisfied. You finish, and instead of feeling relaxed or energized, you feel kind of lonely, maybe even a little sad. That's not because you did anything wrong, it's just that your heart wasn't in it. And when your heart isn't involved, your brain and body don't release those powerful feel-good hormones like oxytocin and dopamine the same way. Without that emotional layer, it becomes less of a healing act and more of a hollow routine. I've talked with so many men who tell me it just doesn't feel like it used to, or I don't even know why I do it anymore. And what I always say is this: maybe it's time to stop thinking of it as something to get done and start thinking of it as a moment to reconnect with your body, with your breath, with yourself. Because when you bring presence and intention into that space, everything starts to shift. It's no longer just about release. It becomes about self-respect, about care, about honoring the fact that you're still alive, still capable of feeling, still worthy of touch, even if it's your own. Try approaching it differently. Take a moment to breathe, to slow down, to really be in your body. Let go of the need to perform or finish quickly. Instead, ask yourself, how does this feel? What do I need right now? Physically, emotionally, even spiritually? Light a candle. Play music. Change the setting. Whatever helps you feel more present, do that. And the more you bring intention into this part of your life, the more powerful it becomes. Because in the end, this isn't just about sex, it's about connection. It's about remembering that pleasure isn't something you earn or outgrow, it's something you deserve simply because you're human. So if you've been going through the motions, take this as a gentle invitation to come back to yourself. To touch not just with your hands, but with your heart. You might be surprised how much more alive everything starts to feel. Aging doesn't mean the end of pleasure, not even close. It just means the rules change a little, and that's okay. The truth is, most of the mistakes we've talked about don't come from doing something wrong. They come from disconnection from your body, from your emotions, from intention. But once you bring awareness back into the picture, everything can shift. You can feel stronger. You can feel more alive. You can absolutely reconnect with your own sexual health, not in a rushed or pressured way, but with care, with pride, and with the kind of gentleness your body actually needs now. The signals are still there. Your body still speaks. It just wants you to start listening again. So if anything in this video resonated with you, if you're ready to feel more connected, more empowered, and more in tune with yourself, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're here to support you with real, honest conversations about aging health and vitality, all without shame. And don't forget to give this video a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it too. You're not alone on this journey, and the best chapters might still be ahead.